Belgium this year are sending Laura Tesoro and What's the Pressure.
Now what's the pressure on you? We'll grow and you will know in the end that this is fiction.
That was way back in January. We've got someone new with us today. This is James.
Hello.
James, what are you thinking of What's the Pressure?
What am I thinking? I'm thinking it's fun, it's catchy, it's sassy, it's exactly what we need for Eurovision, but I think it's kind of dated at the same time. I think that's what's letting it down, and that's what could stop it from doing well at Eurovision.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go as far as you say about the positives. I liked it when it first came out, but saying that, it was like the third song to be released. But now it's just not at a high enough standard, I think. I mean, we've said this in the past, Emily and I, it's too much of a similar song from Fleur East. It's just, I mean, it's not bad, it's not sung bad, but it's on borderline irritating for me.
I think one thing is when you compare it to what was probably the jazz song of last year, Guy Sebastian, you know, that had it all. It was very appealing, very radio friendly. When you put it against What's the Pressure, it probably kicks What's the Pressure's butt. It is, you know, I don't think there's any comparison. Even though I am a fan of the song, I would probably even admit that. And I don't know, I think it's quite hard because it is in the better semi-final. It still might not appeal as well as the other songs, despite it being a weak semi-final, I think.
No, I agree. Despite it being a very, very weak semi-final, and nearly all 18 songs have a chance of getting out of the semi-final, because it's that bad, I still think it is a borderline. I mean, it depends where it goes. It's in the second half of the second semi-final, and I've said it could potentially be a closer. But knowing SCT, it won't close. I have got a feeling that it's going to go second to last, and it's going to be sandwiched between Norway and Ukraine. And if I'm right, it's not qualifying.
That's a good shout.
As much as I hate the other two songs for future reviews, I don't think it's gonna get through if it's against those two. But we have to wait and see. Like it's fun. Like I said, it's sassy. It's a bit like that, and it's too repetitive. And I said this in our winners song review. She needs to improve her dancing.
Oh, you see, I quite like the dancing. I think it is a little bit over the top. I mean, I was a bit like, oh, okay, when she, there was a bit in the song where it sort of goes off on a bit of a jazzy thing, and she was really giving it, and I was a bit like, oh, okay, but yeah, I think she could tone it down a bit, but I think she definitely has some really good stage presence, and I think that's actually a strength that she has compared to some of the other songs. You know, the way she will perform it might sort of make it memorable. But as you say, one thing that could stop it from being memorable is if it does go up against, say, for example, Ukraine. I mean, you know, going from What's the Pressure or It's All Fun to, you know, going to 1944, which is such a serious and dark song, you know, I think that it might not be very positive for What's the Pressure if it's unfortunate to go after or before 1944, so...
I mean, her dancing isn't terrible, it's just that 10-second break where there's nothing else but her dancing, like there's no singing, and she's just dancing, and when I watched the national final, I was literally just like, what just happened? What was that? It was too erratic, and it was... I mean, there's giving energy and, like, showing that you're there, but then there's going too far, and she went too far, so she needs to pull that back, you know, have fun with it, because it's a fun song, and she will. But at the same time, I just don't know about Belgium. Will it be good for the final? Yes. Do I think it'll be in the final? Not sure.
I'd like to see maybe some more of the choreography that we saw in the music video, because I think that was quite good. I mean, it wasn't over the top. I mean, it'd be hard for her to sing and to do that, but it was nice to see. It will look very good on stage if she can do that. For putting on a show, it's brilliant. It's exactly what I think Eurovision needs. But as you say, when you sort of put it up against the other songs in that semi-final, despite it being an easy semi-final, I think that it still could struggle.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we shouldn't downgrade semi-final 2 too much. I mean, the songs aren't bad. It's just semi-final 1 is so much stronger. And I
Yeah,
think that's where
definitely.
everyone's saying that. So no disrespect to any of the songs in semi-final 2, but semi-final 1 is where all the big hitters are at the minute.
Mm.
So something we always do on these reviews is we compare it to last year's entry. So Rhythm Inside versus What's the Pressure? What do you prefer?
I'm going to be quite controversial because anyone on Twitter knows that I am really raving about What's the Pressure. I do love listening to it. I don't know why. But yeah, so I'm going to say this year. But in terms of song quality, I think it is fair to say that 2015, if we're going by not just my taste, but what in general is a better song, I think 2015 is the winner.
I agree with some of that point. Like, if we're going on Eurovision, 2016 is a better song to fit the Eurovision bubble. But at the same point, I loved Rhythm Inside last year because it was so different and he sang well. And so I have no issue against What's the Pressure, but I just prefer Rhythm Inside that much more. Like, so much more.
I think it's also a reflection on the different broadcasters because I know that they take it in turns, the French and the Dutch broadcaster. And it tends to be that the French broadcasters tend to send better entries. I think they just have an idea of what works, whereas maybe the Dutch ones are just still trying to figure it out.
Well, on the alternate years, we're going on that. The last time the Dutch broadcaster qualified was 2010, and the French broadcasters have qualified the last 2 years. They selected their songs. So,
Oh dear.
bit of factual information for you there.
Yeah,
But
that's
we're
a
still
fun
gonna say,
fact there.
Good luck, Belgium, and we shall see what happens in Stockholm for you.